Who am I? I, your host of Innovation here, and we got a freaking big update. A WoW Battle Royale? What is that? We're gonna take a look at that, read all the Wowhead posts, and then we're just gonna be waiting for servers to come up. Really eager to see what's going on with that. In the meantime, happy Tuesday. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for stopping by. So, I guess let's just get into it. How about that? What's good? Let's go. Little mixing action in the meantime. Gonna cover the news. Okay. That's enough of that. All right. So, let's cover the news. So, what do we have here? We have, let's update the page and see exactly what we got here. Okay. Got a new that, new this, new upgrade. Okay. Master mount, dinars. Man, we got news on news on freaking news. All right. Let's cover this first. All right, we'll just go down the line. So, new patch 10.26. Fathom Pet. Okay, little pet, new Twitch drop. Okay, this comes out actually on my birthday. So, okay, Twitch drop, it's whatever, it's just a pet. That's kind of cool. Looks cool. Little hermit crab looking thing. Okay, new Dragonflight expansion meta achievement, A World Awoken the Tavion Mount. Oh, this is that dog, that pet thing that everyone sees. So, with 10.26, slow it's a little bit more. With 10.26, a new expansion-wide meta achievement similar to the Veil Strider. World Awoken, usher in the second age of the dragons by completing the following achievements. So, we need all this shit. Okay, that's going to be something to do. A lot of achievements. Okay, do all the raids. Lore Master. Yup. Okay. Alright, that's kind of cool. New little achievement similar to the Veil Strider. I never got that. I didn't do that. But maybe, maybe I will. We'll see. Alright. Nazuru and Firla. Returning in Season 4, upgrade items. So, they're going to upgrade the legendaries. That's awesome. To reflect the Season 4 item level jump. Okay, pretty cool. Like it. Dig it. Exactly what we wanted. I fucks with that. Good. That should have gone without saying. Okay, empowered spells, expanding beyond the evokers to other classes. Okay. Now available for data mining, a new patch coming out today. Tooltip has been removed. The evoker only thing. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So, Dream Breath and Fire Breath, obviously, if you play the game. If not, basically, it's a dynamic button. You press, or you can set it up, but, you know, you have different tiers of the ability. And they do different things, so more upfront damage or a higher dot, depending on how you do it. Okay. I would like to see this expanded to other classes. That would be pretty cool. Although it could go south really quickly. If every class has one, that's gonna be a large learning curve, I think. Curve? Whatever. I don't know. Interesting. I do like the empowered abilities. I think they're a good touch to the game. Definitely something to keep... Definitely something for Blizzard to keep iterating on. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. No raid rotation? The splash screen. The data for the new Awakened raids are available on PTR, and it seems there's no raid rotation. Here's the splash. Okay, cool. And the text, earn new rewards, relic, mythic, yada yada. Awake, conquer all 3 raids. No raid rotation. But there's no... One of the biggest was the only raid was each week, yada yada. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like players are going to be forced to do every raid every week, which sounds really shitty. We'll see how that works out. I'm not in favor of that. I don't like that. I actually kind of like the rotation. I guess... It did suck if you had to wait once every month, basically, to get the drop you wanted from the raid that's in, or the raid that's available. I don't know how I feel about that. Whatever. Alright, new KSM mount. Another Armadon. Armoridon. This one looks kind of cool, though. The infinite one. So assume that this is going to be like key level 5s to get KSM now. If 10 is going to be portals with the new a system. Yeah, it looks cool though. I will say that. Definitely looks cool. I don't like how they're not flying though. I much rather would have had dragon riding customizations. Not having a flying mount feels bad because ground mounts are so, I don't want to say outdated, but there's no reason to use them anymore. Except if you're inside a dungeon. Okay. Dinar suggests a total cap of 1. Okay, I don't like this already. We have data mined the return of Dinar in Season 4 and used to deterministically purchase a couple of pieces of rare important gear, like trinkets, cantrips. Dinar were added in Season 4 as a form of bad luck protection. Honestly, they should have this in every season. It's just, they should. Okay. We don't want to have details on how the currency is acquired yet. I don't want to listen. There we go. Inside the string also indicates a cap of 1 as opposed to 3. The missing is not sure if it's a question. Yeah, but either way, there will absolutely be a dinar system in Season 4. We don't think it was too generous. It worked great. I was commenting what I thought. The question was about introducing it more broadly. While we do want to keep exploring fallback mechanisms, bad RNG shouldn't. I don't get it. Like, after 5 weeks into the tier, just get that piece of raid gear that you're after. Just have a way to get it. It feels so bad. And then if it's gonna be, I still have one of these. One of my characters sitting in the bank. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I guess we'll have to wait and see what else comes out from the data mining. All right. PvP rewards. Vicious Dreamtown. Draconic Gladiator Drake. This looks sick. Okay, so I guess this is the Horde version. The Alliance version. Those look kind of cool. This actually looks sick. I don't know why it's so big. How do I... Where's the X? Oh, okay, I was just... Alright, whatever. Yeah, okay, new rewards for Season 4. PvP rewards. Not really a PvPer, but that's... Yeah, it looks cool. I hope that... I really want them to include stuff like this for Mythic Plus. Like, all 20s you get a dragon riding thing. All 25s you get a dragon riding thing, or just some sort of mount or title. Give us something after Portals, please. New Pirate Pepe. Costume from Plunderstorm, a tiny plumed tricorn. Oh, this guy's so cute. Okay, I like that. When now sometimes dressed as a plunderlord to summon the tiny captain, see this guy. Okay, Pepe is joining the Plunderstorm festivities with his very own costume. Now the master of the Plunderstorm, and he's your little tiny captain. Okay, cool. The Shadowlands Veil Strider mount added. The old Back from the Beyond achievement is now Legacy, meaning Veil Strider is still not available. Instead, a new version of the achievement, back for the Zoval Soul Eater. It is time to go. Was I a good boy? No, you were the worst. Pretty funny meme. Oh, this is the flavor text. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's funny. I mean, the mount looks cool. Yeah, okay, cool. Season 4 rotation confirmed. We have data mine confirms that the dungeon rotation contains all 8 Dragonflight dungeons. Okay. Algathar, banger. Brackenhide, Ultimate Fusion sucks so much ass. Naltharis, meh. Life pools, cool. Azure Vault. Towards the end of the season, that was okay. Nakud, okay. Oldemon, Garbo. Okay, so that's all 8 dungeons. We're going back to the original. Okay, I don't mind that the Dawn of the Infinite Dragon fight dungeons aren't there. That's pretty cool. Okay, how to play Plunderstorm, patch notes. Okay, let's do this first. This is the announcement. Okay. Blizzard has announced the new patch, the Plunderstorm, a 60-player battle royale. So TLDR, but we're going to read it anyway, so it's not too long. Does not use typical WoW characters. You have to level up and acquire new abilities by spells. New abilities and spells by killing creatures, sorry. Looting chests and avoiding the encroaching storm. The Arathi Highlands are where this takes place. Alright, sick. Doing this on my druid so I can port there instantly. Launch trailer, Plunderstorm. Here, let's watch this trailer. Okay, that's loud as shit. Pause this quick. Okay. Okay, let's watch this trailer. Ahoy there! Hope you're ready for a bit of plundering fun. And the pirates, I'm in. Thunderstorm, March 19th. Hey, that's today. Oh, by the way, happy spring. Today is the first day of spring. Go get your eggs. Try to see if you can balance them. Ho ho ho. Epic plunder. We're gonna be pirates. We're gonna be pirates. The plunder and adventure's about to begin. Whoa. What is this? I guess when you're done plundering, you have a little party? Okay. Cool. Okay, set sail. We'll watch the video after we go through all this. Okay. Set sail. Plunge into a battle with rewards and progression. All you have to do is survive and loot. Okay, can't say this, no problem. Plunder's still, okay. Each match is 10 to 15 minutes, 60 players in total, with the winner being the last person standing. Level up and acquire new abilities and spells, created creatures, okay, yada yada yada. Pirate's life for me, yo ho, yo ho. The Arathi Highlands is the backdrop. Okay. So I guess it's throughout the entire Arathi Highlands. That's kind of cool. I don't know why they picked there. They should have picked, like, Stranglethorn or the Barrens, something with, like, an actual port, but whatever. I guess this does have a... Okay, yeah, maybe. Whatever. Try to plunder. Okay, you launch it, click on the top, all games, select from the list. On top of that, install. Click install. Once you're in Modern WoW, in the game menu to get into action. Okay, so hold on. Is it something different? Once you're in Modern WoW, select Plunderstorm from the game menu to get into action. Create a new ready-to-play character. Player characters are unique to this event. You don't need previous knowledge. I'm gonna actually link this to my friends. Okay. So, on top of... Okay, install World of Warcraft. Done. I have that. You select Plunderstorm from the World of Warcraft game menu to get into action. Okay. Solo, or play with your friends, make it, okay, and select Duo. You automatically match with one, okay. Access chat, okay. So you can only play by yourself or with one other person. Okay, they should have up to 4, but whatever. Action bar, okay. Discover lootable spells, abilities, and upgrades as you plunder. Treasure chests and defeat enemies. Upon picking up spells and abilities are automatically added to your action bar, okay. So you have 2 slots dedicated to offensive skills, 2 for utility such as leap, speed boost, and CC effects. Some abilities are more action-based and require good positioning. Okay. Have fun discovering. Yeah, cool. Your spells and abilities can be upgraded. Higher quality versions. Finding the same ability elsewhere. Stacking up to 3 times. Rank 3 is an epic. Okay. There are also plenty of plundering opportunities. Various treasure chests. Okay. Always stay on the lookout for better loot and upgrades. Okay, spectating Spectre. Upon death, keep watching the match. Perspective of your teammates. Okay, you can watch. Okay, you can earn cosmetics, pets, titles, and mounts. Majestic Plunderlord Parrot. Okay, cool parrot. Victory is not required. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Let's learn more about the Plunderstorm in the update notes. Okay. Plunderstorm is accessible from the game menu, but exists outside of player progression. Offers rewards for both Lich King Classic. Ew, Classic? Yuck. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna have to see how this looks in the actual game. Because curious. Let's check for updates. Huh. I guess we'll just have to see how that looks actually in game. Alright, let's watch this video.
Hey everyone, welcome to WoWcast. We have a very exciting topic today, and with me I have 2 special guests.
Hi, I'm Orlando Salvatore. I'm a lead software engineer on WoW.
Hi, Bethany. Happy to be here. I'm Jeremy Fiesel. I'm Associate Game Director on WoW.
So, what is that black flag on the roadmap for 2024?
That is Plunderstorm.
What we wanted to deliver to the players in 2024, what we ended up landing on was that we wanted to do something a little bit different than the things that we did previously in Dragonflight. So that's what we're here to talk about today. It's a brand new event, and we're calling it Plunderstorm. It is a pirate...
I don't want to be a doomer, but a battle royale is... They're not... That fad is over, isn't it? They're a little late to the party on this. But I don't... That's enough doomer. Let's keep watching.
Battle Royale inspired event that takes place entirely within World of Warcraft and is available for all active WoW subscribers. All that said, what do we feel like is like the 3 sentences that encapsulates the coolest parts about it?
So, Plunderstorm is World of Warcraft's take on a battle royale. It's an action-oriented game that lets you customize your build and basically your class every single match. You'll be able to start collecting abilities through chests and by killing monsters, even killing other players, all while trying to avoid a collapsing storm that is pushing players together. Whoever is the last team standing ends up winning. And you don't need to go through a quest line, you don't need to go through any previous content to be able to access this. This is immediately accessible for anybody who's an active WoW player.
We expect even the most casual player to be getting tons of plunder and tons of rewards every day. You might even say that the...
Okay, so it seems all you need is a sub.
The first minute or 2
Okay.
are really a little bit more on the PvE side of things, where you're out fighting monsters, you're collecting a new set of abilities, and there isn't a huge amount of PvP combat until later on in the match. And I think it's important that that's like the core of the game, is that plundering, getting out and collecting chests and
Plundering.
You don't have to be the last person standing on the map in order to get a whole bunch of rewards. Even just by dropping into the map and completing your starter quest, that gives you a bunch of rewards just for doing the usual things you would do for the first couple of minutes. And so no matter what, you should exit that map with a bunch of plunder, even if you're not the last person standing. So as we were thinking about what the best framework for this would be, it just came to us that, hey, it should actually be an event that feels like it's a little bit outside of the main system. So we talked and we riffed about, hey, what would be the best theme for an event like that? We landed on pirates.
Who doesn't love pirates?
Because who doesn't love pirates? It's a fun theme, but also there's all these different pirate crews around Azeroth, and you've got to ask yourself the question, if you're not the hero of Azeroth, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? So we're gonna actually track some of our civilian NPC friends and play as those characters as one of the pirate crews within Azeroth that isn't the hero of Azeroth. All of that came together to give us this theme of Kegleg's crew and the pirate crew, plundering these relics that are being transported across the Highlands.
What will players see when
Okay.
they jump into this new event?
When players enter this new event, they're going to notice that a lot of their core things that they're used to in World of Warcraft are different. When they get into the main menu, they'll have a brand new option available to them, which is the Plunderstorm button. They click on that, that takes them to a separate menu, which shows their character and...
Okay, so this is exactly what I was wondering. So it looks like top left, you have the actual game, and then you have Plunderstorm outside of the actual game. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Basics: win by being the last one, kill creatures, upgrade spells, use your heal ability when you're low. Solo, duos, join game, customize. Okay. I mean, this looks like a character select screen, just a little different. Okay.
And their friends list, and they'll be able to invite players to their party.
Friends list looks
all
the
through
same.
main menu.
Okay.
Normally, you need to go into the game to invite another player into your party, but through Plunderstorm, you're actually inviting them through the main menu.
Okay.
Up, or if you want to...
So yeah, essentially it looks like you're gonna have a lobby, which looks like your typical battle royale, your loadout. You can, I guess you really, well, we'll see what customized character is, but yeah, this looks like a regular battle royale loadout. Okay, I dig it.
Into your party, but through Plunderstorm, you're actually inviting them through the main menu. Once you're partied up, or if you want to go in solo, you queue up.
That's a big
load
cock.
into a match. When you load into a match, you'll notice that you're invited into a pre-game lobby where you're able to try out new abilities and try different mechanics that exist within Plunderstorm.
So one of the coolest things about designing
Okay.
Plunderstorm has been just figuring out where we can break the rules in World of Warcraft. TLDR, when you're thinking about changing up things that dramatically, it no longer...
Low key, I think Season of Discovery definitely made this, implementing this easier. Seeing what other classes and models can do, other abilities, because I just saw like an arcane ability. Whatever, we'll see. I'll shut up.
Your main character and everything associated with that character, all of your armor sets and all of the weapons and everything that you've collected over the years in your battle pets and your 36 different abilities doesn't necessarily translate directly into this game mode. We wanted to start fresh and do crazy new abilities.
So, as Jeremy mentioned, there's going to be brand new abilities that
Eruption,
you wouldn't see on
tornadoes,
or characters in there. Because when you're thinking about developing a warrior ability, you want it to feel very warrior-esque. Or you're developing a mage ability, you want it to feel mage-esque. Well, this, you don't have a class. You're actually going to be building a brand new kit every single time you're going into a match. And your builds may vary match to match because it...
Okay, hold on. So this is kind of what it looks like in-game. Alright, so you have your abilities, bottom, your little health. I wonder... Oh, no add-ons will be supported. Okay, so I guess that really doesn't matter. That was an interesting... Okay.
Depends on what drops for you in the match. Even things like auto attack doesn't work like how it works normally in WoW. It's going to be an active ability that you're constantly using to attack enemies. One thing that's just baked into your experience is that you're going to have a health pot that's always persistent. And we've slimmed down the UI compared to what World of Warcraft normally is. You may be used to the 12 buttons on your main action bar, then you have a bunch of other action bars you can enable. Well, this actually only has 7 total buttons that you can press on an action bar. When you loot an item, it doesn't go to your bag. You don't have a separate frame that you're opening. Everything gets put directly onto your action bars, and then from there, that's also your spells. So you'll be able to cast spells, drop abilities, pick up abilities, all to one singular action bar without needing to manage anything else. So we've really streamlined and simplified the experience.
That whole thing, I think, ends up feeling just wildly different than the way World of Warcraft plays right now. Not only is it action-oriented combat, but you're grabbing your abilities from the ground and then putting them on your bar. You can swap the 4 different abilities as you find new and cool things, or that you find certain synergies that work really well together. And then there's different rarities to the abilities, too. So you can get everything from uncommon, rare, all the way up to epic levels of these abilities. You get higher level abilities as you progress in the match, but you may also just get one really early in the match, get super lucked out, and you get epic fire whirl right at the very beginning, and then you can go and wreck some people. And that's one of the things I think that makes it super replayable. Not only do you get a kit of abilities that are always going to feel different in every match, but also how the power curve changes is also going to feel pretty different every match too.
Yeah, you know, we've experimented around with a lot of different spells and abilities, things that normally we couldn't do in World of Warcraft, and that's intentional as well. We want to make sure that when we're coming up with these brand new abilities, that they feel fresh, they feel awesome to press. It's not just about the min-max, but sometimes it's about the impact, oh man, I'm using an ability and this is just the most awesome ability I've ever seen. That's the type of stuff we want to inspire players to kind of jump into the next match and find even more cool stuff.
And you can strategize. One of the reasons why I like playing duos is because it almost feels like you get twice as many abilities, and you can strategize. You're going to be the fire pirate, and I'm going to be the arcanosphere pirate.
So do solo players and duo players play together?
So the way it works is we have all duos in a match and all solos in a match. Duos, you can also, pre-form a party with a friend and be able to get into the match with them as well.
I think that it would end up being a little unfair to have solo players on the battlefield with duo players, because duo players are coordinating, they're coordinating their spells and abilities. We made it really easy to use the ping system in-game so that it's really easy for you to communicate even if you're not talking with your partner. So they would already have an advantage, and we wouldn't want to disadvantage our solo player like that. I think that duos also has the revive mechanic too, which is super cool, especially if you're a player that dies first, like I tend to.
Me too. We shouldn't be on the same team then.
Absolutely.
So if your partner dies, you are able to revive them, but you're not reviving them the normal way you would revive a player in WoW. So you don't need to press any extra buttons or collect any spells or items that do this. This is actually just something that is kind of baked into the experience, that if you die, you'll have a ring around you, your partner can stand on you, and then you'll get revived and able to play the game again. Normally in World of Warcraft, when your character dies, you're looking at your character's corpse and seeing a release button on there. Well, with PLUNDERSTORM, we knew that you wouldn't be able to release. So what are you going to be doing, looking at your corpse the whole time? Well, the engineers, got together and they decided, hey, let's add spectating mode to this. So once you die, you can actually spectate your teammate until you're either revived or, unfortunately, you're eliminated. And then once your team is eliminated, you can spectate anybody on the entire map. So we wanted to really make sure that we're kind of introducing new things in WoW.
All right, I like that.
Didn't exist in, Dragonflight or in Classic or another variation of WoW.
Pretty standard for battle royales.
There's other things that we kind of broke the rules on too, which was there's no fall damage.
And everyone can double jump.
Everyone can double jump.
Double
Just things that we thought were fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
These are things that we can't do in World of Warcraft, and that's intentional because that's built around a very different experience. But here we said, well, we love WoW's combat, but we want to change up how you interact with WoW's combat, and we wanted to not only make it different for fighting other players, but also fighting monsters. All the monsters have a different type of abilities that they're going to be able to attack you with. These aren't your normal just auto attack abilities whenever a mob gets on you. These are going to be actually telegraphed abilities that you're going to see cast in front of the monster and be able to sidestep it. So there's actual mechanics tied to all of the monsters that are in the match as well.
Like everything has become kind of more action-oriented combat, and that's one of the things we can accomplish when it's all encapsulated within an event.
On top of that, I think a really cool part of this mode is that there's multiple layers of how you play it. So there's not only the spell acquisition, which we talked about.
Confirm this mode is an ogre. It has layers.
But also you're leveling through this experience as well. You're getting more health, and you want to get that so that you hopefully by the end of the match have enough level under your belt and enough items under your belt that you can come out on top.
I want to know, what rewards can I get from PLUNDERSTORM? Because I'm a huge collector, and there's got to be something cool. It's plunder after all.
Oh yeah, no, we've got a ton of rewards, a ton of intentionally pirate-themed rewards coming your way in PLUNDERSTORM. There's 40 renown levels that you can get with
Jeez.
which seems like a lot, but you're going to zip through them pretty quickly. We want this to feel super, super rewarding, so expect to get a renown level, every 4 or 5 matches, at least a renown level a day for even your casual gamer. Every renown level that you level up has a
A
reward.
day. So wait, if it's 40 and it's a limited time event, are you... What is this going to last? A month? 2 months? I guess we'll see.
With it, everything that you unlock in this mode is also going to unlock in your transmog set for all of your main World of Warcraft characters. And then there's a couple of classic rewards in there as well. If you're a World of Warcraft classic player, you can get a pet and a mount from this.
Is there anything you're doing to make PLUNDERSTORM fair for all players?
One of the things we started discussing early on was whether or not we would support add-ons or try to put the majority of the information players were looking for in the game world and in the mode.
Yeah, World of Warcraft players are some of the smartest players in the world, and we're super excited for our players to check this out.
Yeah, we are.
One thing that we knew, though, is that we wanted a level playing field for all players to be able to play with. Third-party add-ons are awesome, and they're super cool to see, and what the community comes up with is amazing. But for this, we really wanted everybody to have the same exact experience, which also made it challenging to make the event as well, because we need to make everything super obvious. When you're casting spells or you're attacking enemies, those things, we won't have any assistance from any other add-ons, so we may need to make the game really streamlined and approachable in that way.
We've really spent extra time iterating on the UI and the UX, the visual effects in game to make sure everything is as clear as possible.
Is Plunderstorm a recurring event?
You know, we're really looking forward to seeing what players think of
All right, this is it. Let's see.
this event. It's a brand new thing for us. It's super unique and cool and different. And depending on player feedback, we will see what the future of Plunderstorm looks like. We would love to bring it back in some form. If you like Plunderstorm, you know, please get on the forums, please get on social media. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you would like to see in a future iteration of it. I think importantly, now that we've got all this great backbone tech set up for creating these sort of in-game events, we can definitely look forward to making more in the future. So let us know what you think.
Feedback is super important for us. It's actually something that we take very seriously, not only externally, but also internally. And we want to make sure this is a fun experience. So just like Jeremy said, get on the forums, get on social media. Let us know what you think.
I am so excited to play Plunderstorm, and I'm sure all of you are as well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Bethany. It was great to be here, and we will see you in the Plunderstorm.
Oh my gosh.
That
see you
was
guys
lame.
next time.
Okay. All right, so that's that. And then, did they say? Okay. Then that's basically the announcement post. Cool, let's see some comments. What in the heck? I'm gonna go on who asked for this? PvP Pog. This actually sounds awesome. What is this? Who asked for this? Dude, why are you so doomers? Wow, this is stupid. Why is it stupid? Early April Fool's joke. It's not PvP. Whatever. Or just being dumb. Okay, how to play. Yeah, let's do that first. How to play. So you install the game, which chances are most players that are going to play this already have the game. You do not need to purchase Dragonflight. Once the game's installed, all you need to do is hit play. So, hold on. On games, next to classic, not classic, exclamation point. Click on the install, okay. Once the game installs, you hit play, enter the world. But wait, do you need? How to play Plunderstorm. Is that here? How to play. Install World of Warcraft. So you get the app, the account, create a World of Warcraft account. In order, you must have a WoW subscription or game time. Okay, if you already have subscription. Okay, so you do need a sub. Okay, fine. Install the game, next steps. Start playing. Okay, cool. So it's in the base game. You can see this little Plunderstorm thing in the top left. Okay, cool. Okay, Blizzard, table of contents. Oh, this is like the main post. Oh, this is the main update post. All right, let's cover that last. Okay, no add-ons, inspiration. Interview with Game. Yo, shout out GameSpot. Used to be the OG news for me regarding games. Shout out Ryan Davis, Jeff Gerstmann, Vinny Caravella. I think his name was Brad Shoemaker. Little Bradley. OGs. Used to love going to GameSpot. Shout out Giant Bomb too. There's the interview, spectator, no add-on support. Yeah, okay, we kind of covered that. Basically, everything was covered in the video. Okay, cool. Okay, and then here we go. Let's do this first. Dragonflight Season 4 Awakened. So, getting rid of the Fated title. Raid rewards mount from normal. Okay. So, if you complete it on normal, you get this thing, which is kind of sick. Weird, it's like the Night Fae Covenant mounts from Shadowlands. I don't know why that's there. Okay, so for normal, you get the mount. Heroic, you get the Awakened Hero, and then Mythic, you get the Raid teleports. Okay. That's basically the same as Shadowlands. The achievement for completing normal. Okay, you get the Wildling, the achievement for Heroic, yada yada. And Path of the Primal Prison, Vault of the Incarnates, the Bitter Legacy, Aberrus, and of the Scorching Dream to Amirdrasil. Cool. Okay. Alright, let's ready yourselves for pirates, magic, and mayhem when you plunge into Plunderstorm, a fun new pirate-themed event of prodigious proportions. Yarr. Okay, Plunderstorm gets swept away. Fun new limited time. Okay, this is where you're losing me a little bit. Limited time. How limited? Portions lasting several weeks. Scour the map. Okay, we already did all this. Learn more. Okay. Macros that use non-healer version will override the ability. Plus discipline holy. Macros that use non-healer versions of dispels. Okay. So they're changing mouse over macros for healers? That use non-healer versions will override. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Speaking of that, let's check the old WoW add-ons. See if there's any add-ons to update. Can't wait for the game to break again. Yeah, there's a bunch. DBM. Update them. Okay, they're updated. Okay, we updated the power of many of the set bonuses that are returning for Season 4 to match the increased power of the rest of the new gear in Season 4. So I guess Death Knight is getting the... Blood Death Knight is getting the Shadow Crucible. The Aberrus tier set. Okay. I don't know enough about Blood Death Knight. Frost Mage. Frostman's Fury. 5% was 4. Increased to 30 was 25. Okay. Base mana cost for Evoker, Druid. New talent, Dance of Chi-Ji. Chance to make your next spinning crane kick. Okay. Okay. New talent, Peer into Peer. Alright. This Weaver's getting a little bit of... Not a rework, but they're changing some of the talents. Okay. Oh, this is big. I like playing Light's Hammer. Oh, that's gonna be cool. Holy Prism healing was increased baseline in Guardians of the Dream, so adding this reset in mind. So... Oh, this is big. Leap of Faith no longer interrupts spellcasts from the ally it was used on. Okay, that's huge. That's... I'm pretty sure Evoker Hover already... not Hover. Rescue already does that. How it does not interrupt spellcasts. Oh, wow. Holy Priest is getting a lot of things. Okay. Lightwell. I don't know if this is gonna be worth it to play Lightwell. All healing reduced by 7%. That's a pretty crazy nerf. Holy Fire mana cost reduced. Okay. Chastise, Resonant Words. I don't know enough about Holy Priest, though. This is a lot, though. Alright. Here's a class I know. Restoration Shaman. Healing String Totem now increased crit chance by 15. Oh, yeah, that was huge. So I'm assuming this is also Cloudburst Totem. That when Cloudburst is out, your crit is increased by 15%. That's kind of huge. And increase the effectiveness 220%. Okay. Destruction lock. Okay, yada yada. Okay, Aldwar time walking. Okay. Oh, okay. So fix an issue with a liquid. This is Flame Leviathan, where liquid pyrite was not properly restoring ammunition. Fix an issue where burning tar incorrectly damaging players and vehicles. Jump to attack players remaining targetable. Oh, I remember this was a big deal. The mark of the faceless was doing too much damage. Okay, it took them that long to fix it. Boss model. The player in a follower dungeon can try to cast their version when they appropriate. Instead, leave. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So if you are doing a follower dungeon and your class has a bloodlust or heroism ability, if there is another, so if you're, so it's on you, the player, cast bloodlust. Cool. Okay, I dig that. Raid loot from Vault. I've received several adjustments to align with the changes. Okay, all have a separate chance to drop. Okay. As we look ahead, Season 4, aiming to level the playing field with certain overpowering raid trinkets. Further tuning can be okay. The following raid trinkets have been adjusted. Okay, this is it. 100 chill glow mana restore effect reduced by 70%. Okay, so that trinket's dead on arrival now. Icon reduced by 40%. Okay, so you don't okay. So you don't need incarnate icon anymore. Not as big, I guess. Ward of the Faceless Ire. I remember this was from Neltharion. Reduced to a 1-minute cooldown, and it's reduced 25%. No. And 15%. Jesus Christ. That trinket was already useless, so now it's even more useless. All remaining stacks. Just I don't know what the trinket that is. Essence. So OCE, the secondary stat you get is reduced by 5%. Blossom of Amirdrasil is increased by 10%. That's a lot of overhealing anyway. The Absorb increased by 5. The damage reduced by 5. And the passive AoE damage reduced by 20. Okay, so for Rage Heart, it's still a good defensive trinket. It just doesn't do as much damage. Not good offensively. It never really was that good offense. So these have been reworked. I don't know any of these. The following dungeon trinkets have been adjusted. Searing Embers trigger to increase by damage reduced by 50. Healing reduced. Okay. I don't know these trinkets. So, new glyphs have been added, transform the appearance. Okay, so you can revert back to the old Covenant abilities, how they look. I don't know why you would. They don't fit the game anymore. I kind of like the new ones. Wrist appearances are now shown. The right wrist was left wrist. This shows. Okay. Play PvP. You skip by that. Okay. Okay, interesting. So those are all the changes. Let's date. New. Faction. Okay. Couple new things. Dynamite a lot of the tuning for season 4, which a large change to an important feature of Notharis. Burning burning chain. So how you would be able to cheese Notharis now stuns enemies for 5 seconds, deals no damage, but increases damage taken during the stun. Okay. So it's not like you just pop chains. You actually have to. It's player damage doing it now. Okay. I like that. Fiery focus now. What was this? Upon reaching 100 target, fixes on its primary target, unleashing a chain of magma. Target inflicts shards, lava splash. I don't remember Chargath. Whatever. I don't really care enough to look into that. Debuff only lasts 30 seconds, but now stacks was 5 minutes. Oh, that's the curse on the last boss. And the range of the eruption, guessing that's the swirls on the floor, so it's a little bit smaller. Okay, that's a nice change. So, I don't know how this is gonna stacks. That's interesting. How I wonder how hard it's gonna hit after it's stacked up a couple times, or how many times it can stack. Erratic growth, cast time increase. Okay, so the cast increased. That's nice. Always like more time to kick something. Now hits players within 8 yards. Kinda don't remember this ability. I don't remember any of these abilities. This is the AoE on the second boss, I believe. I'll pause it 1 second. Active. Sure. Okay, you get more mastery. So I guess, but I'm always gonna be taking verse anyway. And you should too. Always take the red one when you do Algathar, my opinion. Okay, I remember this being annoying. This was the mind control. Oh no, it's the sleep effect. Okay, that's more. Damage reduced by 40. Okay, nice. Good changes so far. Croth. Firestorm radius reduced to 5. Okay, so the swirls on the big bird, smaller. Savage Peck. The initial damage reduced. Okay, so that Peck ability is going to be a little easier to deal with. Like that. And now a new ability. Yes, a new change, new ability. Unleashes powerful in all players opening arcane rift in nearby location. Okay, curious to see how that is going to look. Nakud. Up to shout. Now actually has a 40. Okay, so that's the interrupt that the first area mobs have by the Proto Dragon boss. Deadly Thunder. Knocks a knockback, has a reduced cast time. I don't really remember that. These things, yeah, these death bolts were killers. Damage increased, cast time increased. Okay, so they increased the cast time. They also increased the damage. Now summons 5 dogs instead of 3, so this is even more important to kick. Now increases. This is what I think this is what they would. Mind control? Oh no. I remember there was some control on that ability that Death Knights would use in this dungeon. Alright, travels 400. That's a lot faster. That's good. This is gonna be a problem. I'm already calling it now. Okay, Oldemon. Viking boss. Fiery Surge. Okay, so swirls damage, so you can actually get hit by the swirls a little bit, I guess. Not that you would, but this is huge. Big change. That's actually huge. That's going to make that first area of Halls of Infusion a lot easier. Not a lot easier, but the containment beams won't one-shot people. Titanic Fist. Whoa. Oh, that's the frontal. Oh, so you can't outrange the frontal anymore. Just stand behind them. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. Bone Bolt. The bleed. The damage. Damage? Okay, damage in the dot is reduced. Okay. This is huge. That is a big change. An extra 3 seconds to kick that, that's huge. Another cast time increase. Scented meat. Rotten meat. Scented meat. I don't get what the difference is. I mean, that was just like a fixate. And then attack. Sorry about that. Okay. Stink breath, violent whirlwind, radius reduced. Okay, that's. I mean, you would skip him most times anyway. So I guess if you do pull him, little. I mean, that's still. I don't know if melee's still gonna be able to hit him doing that. Gash frenzy now only lasts 15. Was 45. Oh, that's the dot. Oh, okay, that was kind of a big deal. But I mean, I don't know how this is really gonna change anything. You're gonna still have to get the. Doesn't matter that it's 30 seconds shorter, I don't think. Like, that bleed is still gonna fucking murk you. Or. Fuck's calling me. Withering Rot. That's the player's strength with damage. Damage until Rathai is defeated. Okay. Yeah, these changes are whatever. I mean, the trash changes are huge. They didn't do anything regarding the last boss. Oh, wait, no. Oh, this is the dot on the last boss. Oh, I remember that. If you don't kill the totem in time. Okay, so it's a little more livable. If you do happen to not kill the totem. Okay. Ruby life pools. The channelers now deal damage every 1 second, was 0.5. That's. I don't think you're gonna notice too much of a change with this. I mean, it does count. It halves the amount of damage it does, but chances are, if you weren't ready for it anyway, or you didn't have defensives or cooldowns ready, you would kind of dead anyway. I guess it makes it a little easier to deal with. So the dot that the last boss would put on you. The damage is reduced by 25%, but the duration, so it hurts a quarter less, but it's a quarter longer. Okay. Sure. And then Dawn of the Infinites, while not in the rotation, it will still go up to 4 plus 10 levels. So Earth Surge increases damage taken by 5%. Was 25. Oh, wow. That's a really big nerf. Okay. Alright, so overall, some pretty good changes. I like this a lot. This is going to feel a lot better. And actually allow the player to feel like they're doing the dungeon, not some random item in there. curious to see how this curse is going to change. How I don't really remember how hard it hit. That's the only thing. Azure Vault. This ticking damage is going to be kind of nice. Little change to that. This is huge. Froth changes are huge. That was completely murking tanks. That's a big change. I don't know how I feel about these changes. This is kind of big. I like this. This is whatever. This is nice. I like the dot. That dot was really a pain in the ass. I don't know how this is gonna work. I mean, that gash, you have to get it off instantly. I don't get. I mean, it's nice. I guess because if you can't get it off of them in time and they pop a defensive player with the dot, you will be able to almost outlive it. Like, there's no way you can live 45 seconds with that dot on you, but 15, maybe. This is kind of nice, although you should be killing the totem every time. This is an okay change. I like that. This is really nice. Alright, overall, okay changes to the dungeons. Alright, let's see. Adds a new meta achievement for some of the main factions and reward players for completing activities for each faction. Excuse me. Besides the specific faction ones, there is one for completing it all, which also rewards a mount. Okay. It's whatever. Alright. Well, those are all the changes we got for right now. I don't think servers are up yet. There's no way they're up. Yeah, there's no way. Okay. I mean, we could log on the classic, but I don't like that. Go back here. Well, I am definitely interested in to see how this works. A WoW Battle Royale. Huh. Well, in the meantime, I guess just gonna hang out. Because there's really not much to do right now. So we're gonna watch a YouTube video. What was the earliest surgery off of PBS Eons? Love this channel. Super cool videos. So when did we start practicing medicine? Yada, yada, yada. So this might be the earliest surgery. Okay. Let's watch this video. I am going to go to the bathroom real quick and make another coffee in the meantime. But we're going to watch this video. Alright, I will be right back.
A little over 30,000 years ago, in a rainforest in what's now Borneo, a surgeon knelt over their patient, a child with an injured left leg. Using a sharp tool, probably made of stone, they cleanly sliced through the bones between the child's knee and ankle, expertly navigating the muscles, veins, and nerves to avoid death by blood loss or shock. And the operation was a resounding success. This is the oldest known surgical operation, and it took place tens of thousands of years earlier than many scientists had assumed we'd started performing such advanced medical procedures. And it forces us to ask an important question, one with far-reaching implications. When did practicing medicine in all of its varied, complex forms become something that we actually started doing? While it's a hard question to answer, it's possible that our tendency to heal one another might have been with us for even longer than we've been human. Before the discovery of that amputation from Borneo, the next oldest examples of surgery come from around 7,000 years ago in the Neolithic period. An ancient farmer in what's now France had his left forearm removed, and skulls with holes drilled in them in a process called trepanning also emerged around this time. And for a long time, a common view among Western scientists was that the transition to settled agricultural societies in this period is what sparked the first major innovations in medicine. As Neolithic societies got larger and more complex in their social organization, they developed sophisticated medical knowledge, skills, and tools that earlier communities simply didn't have. But in 2020, when scientists exploring a cave in Borneo discovered the carefully buried remains of that ancient amputee, they argued that this might be wrong, because the evidence from that burial pointed to an intentional, skilled operation and not an accident. For example, the bones of the lower third of the individual's leg ended in a clean cut. This cut was far too precise for the limb to have been severed in an accidental injury or an animal attack, both of which would have left more crushing fractures. There also was no sign of an infection in the bone, probably thanks to the application of medicinal plants native to the region. And this would have been quite an achievement in the tropics, where wound infection is difficult to prevent and hard to treat even today. In fact, based on the pattern of bone healing, the individual appears to have survived for between 6 and 9 years after the operation, making it to around 20-ish. Now, the fact that ancient people were capable of such sophisticated behavior shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. The more we learn about the people who came before us, the clearer it becomes that ingenuity, resourcefulness, and compassion are all traits that have been part of us for as long as we've been human. But what about medicine? After all, from an evolutionary perspective, practicing medicine is a trait too, a complex social behavior, and an unusual one at that. So if it's older than the Neolithic period, and older even than the burial from Borneo, how much farther back can we trace it? Well, self-medication is actually pretty widespread, popping up in various diverse animal groups across the family tree. Many species have been observed seeking out and using particular medicinal plants, often to treat or ward off parasites, for example. From bears to birds to elephants to us primates, self-medication seems to be a routine and probably fairly ancient behavior in the animal kingdom. But the social aspect of medicine, not just trying to heal yourself, but actively trying to heal others, is much harder to identify outside of Homo sapiens. And even for other extinct human relatives who we know were like us in so many ways, it's not something we could easily determine if they were doing based on fossil evidence alone. But we do have evidence that other human relatives cared for individuals with injuries and illnesses, helping them to live with conditions that would have otherwise left them unable to survive by themselves. Like the male Neanderthal from Iraq called Shanidar I, for example, dating to around 40,000 years ago. He lived with a range of debilitating conditions that meant he was likely cared for by his wider community. It's a case that we dug into in our episode, The Neanderthals That Taught Us About Humanity. And I recommend that you watch it because Shanidar I got much respect for him. And we've also found an older hominin dating to around 1.7 million years ago who had survived years despite losing almost all of his teeth, again suggesting some level of care from his social group. And even further back in time, over 2 million years ago, we found Australopithecines, members of a genus of early hominins that lived with skeletal injuries and illnesses. Seeing as it would have been hard for them to forage for food and water, stay safe from predators, and move from place to place, some researchers have argued that they too benefited from some level of social care. But these are all potential examples of hominins helping each other live with medical conditions, which is not the same as actively treating those conditions, aka medicine. Evidence of that has not been as easy to come by. We haven't yet found any conclusive examples of other hominins performing surgical operations, for instance. And while it's a safe bet that they were using medicinal plants and fungi from their environment to medicate themselves, we don't have any direct evidence that they used these remedies on others. For example, we found traces of medicinal plants preserved in the dental calculus of a Neanderthal with a tooth abscess. He seems to have been eating material from a poplar tree, which is known to produce a natural painkiller. If we were to find similar signatures of medicinal plants in the calculus of an infant or an immobile adult who probably couldn't forage for themselves, that could suggest that they were treated by others. But we haven't, at least not yet. The fossil record can only give us so much information, and complex social behaviors are notoriously difficult to infer from it. So does that mean in our
All right.
evolutionary journey, healing
We
each other
are
is something
back.
that we could only say for sure is as old as our species, Homo sapiens? Well, until very recently, it seemed like the answer was yes. But if the answer was yes, I would not be here. We just didn't have the hard evidence to the contrary. But in 2019, that suddenly changed.
Got
See,
my
researchers
coffee.
in the rainforest of Gabon were working on a long-term project to observe a local chimpanzee community.
Pop in a new little Zinni.
Over the course
Zin
of
for
about
Vin.
15 months, the researchers saw wounded chimps repeatedly perform a never-before-seen behavior. And when I say this is strange, I would like for you to go like this before I tell you about it, because when I first learned about this, it made my brain break in half. The chimps caught a type of small flying insect from the air, squeezed it briefly between their lips, and applied it to their open wounds, rubbing it around for a bit before throwing it away. And the researchers saw the chimps do this 19 times with what seemed like the same kind of insect, although the researchers were too far away to identify the species. Now, this alone was a pretty remarkable observation. It was another possible instance of self-medication in non-human animals, and the first ever recorded that involved applying insects to a wound. But what was even more remarkable was that in a few instances, they saw individuals apply the insects to the wounds of others. Those instances included a mother applying the insects to the wound of her son, and in one case, adult chimps applying insects to the wounds of another unrelated adult. These observations, published in 2022, may represent the first recorded example of non-human animals actively treating the wounds of others. And it gives me a little bit of hope for all of us. What medicinal effects the insects might have had is still an open question. Perhaps they have some soothing anti-inflammatory or antimicrobial properties. Until we identify the species, we just don't know. But insects and other invertebrates have been used by many human societies for medicinal purposes over the years too, from leeches to slugs and snails to termites, to name a few. And what the chimps are doing seems pretty similar. While trying to find deep time evidence of healing others has eluded us so far, it seems like the present may be the key that helps us understand the evolution of medicine. After all, if chimps are medicating each other, isn't it possible that this behavior was present in our common ancestor some 6 to 7 million years ago? Whatever the answer, this trait that was once thought to be exclusively human might actually be more widespread than we thought. And maybe even an important part of our evolutionary success story, allowing us to thrive in situations that might have otherwise been deadly, something it still does for us millions of years later. Did you know that your dental calculus is the only part of your body that fossilizes while you're alive? Find out more in our episode, The 40 Million Year Old Ecosystem in Your Mouth.
Oh, my mouth. You don't say. What other video can we watch in the meantime? Stratnos, Max, Dura, Royale. They all got their own stuff. Let's see. What haven't I watched on here? Watch that. Oh, here's a cool.
Hello and welcome to 7 Days of Science. In the headlines this week, the Spinosaurus wars continue as new research casts doubt on its ability to swim. Again, the first new species of living deer to be named in the 21st century has been found, the oldest evidence of hominins in Europe has been discovered, and much more.
Ooh, big news.
Starting off the news this week is the fantastic announcement that a new species of living deer has been discovered, making this the first living species of deer to be described in the 21st century. The new species is found in Peru and is a kind of short-legged dwarf deer, and they're actually some of the smallest deer in the world. Up until now, there were two recognized species of these dwarf deer within the genus Pudu. The northern Pudu, called Pudu mephistopheles, that inhabits Peru, Ecuador and Colombia, and the southern Pudu, Pudu puda, from southern Chile and Argentina. This new study has closely examined the anatomy of various specimens of these deer and assessed their genetic variation, finding that the northern Pudu should actually be split into two species, with the new one being found to only inhabit Peru. They not only give it a new species name, but because the two northern species are genetically distinct from the southern Pudu, they also revive an old genus name to distinguish them. So Pudu mephistopheles is now Pudella mephistopheles, and the new species is called Pudella carle. named after biologist Carla Gazzolo, who according to the paper actually saved the life of the first author. So that's a very nice way to say thank you. So pretty exciting to have the first new deer species of the century. In less exciting news, sadly scientists from the British Antarctic Survey have reported that avian flu has killed a number of penguins in South Georgia.
No!
The flu pandemic was
Penguin!
in Europe in autumn 2020 and has gone on to kill millions of birds globally. Due to the remoteness of Antarctica and its outlying islands, the birds here have managed to escape the worst of it, but there are now fears that this is about to change. Bird flu was first detected in South Georgia in October 2023, with brown skuas and kelp gulls dying from the virus. In January of this year, cases were found in elephant and fur seals in South Georgia, as well as gentoo penguins on the Falkland Islands, and it is known to have spread to wandering albatrosses and Antarctic terns. It was only a matter of time before it spread to the penguin colonies in South Georgia, and it is thought that skuas are the vectors of this disease, as they scavenge and prey on eggs and chicks in the colonies. What's surprising is that it has only just appeared in gentoo and king penguin colonies, and there have only been 10 confirmed deaths from the virus. As winter descends on that part of the world, some penguins, such as the macaronis, disperse to spend their time at sea, which will help them avoid the infection, but kings and gentoos continue to roost on shore, where they are at risk. The situation is constantly being monitored by the scientists at the 2 research stations in South Georgia and by tourist ships that visit the area. And stringent biosecurity measures are in place to prevent any human unwittingly spreading the disease. Only time will tell whether penguin colonies become decimated by this disease, but let's hope that this will not be the case. Also in the news, a study published in the journal Geology has taken a closer look at the mystery behind the Sturtian glaciation, a geological event that happened around 700 million years ago that saw the planet completely covered in ice for 57 million years. Quite why this extreme event happened, and indeed why it lasted so long, is not quite clear to us, but this study has opened up further possibilities to understanding how this occurred. This was a time well before animals or even complex plant life, so the dominant force in the climate was the geology of the planet. This study ran 2 computer simulations of the Earth's geological climate, and concluded that the most likely cause was a massive decrease in volcanic carbon dioxide emissions, which usually played an enormous part in sustaining higher global temperatures. In addition, the study shows that this combined with the weathering of what is referred to as a continental volcanic province, basically a giant, and I mean giant, volcanic rock. This weathering was a process that absorbed carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, so the planet was experiencing both lower carbon dioxide emissions and higher carbon dioxide absorption rates, which dramatically decreased the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere to about half of what it is today, leading to the Sturtian glaciation event. A fascinating study that helps us learn more about our planet's past, and indeed helps us understand its potential future. Also in the news this last week is the intriguing report that the proposal to officially end the Holocene epoch and recognise the Anthropocene as the current epoch we're living in has been rejected. The decision was made by a subcommittee of the International Commission on Stratigraphy called the Subcommission on Quaternary Stratigraphy, or SQS, made up of a group of geologists and paleontologists who have been assessing a proposal submitted by the Anthropocene Working Group. This proposal would have officially ended the Holocene epoch after nearly 12,000 years, and marked 1952 as the start of the Anthropocene, after which the effects of humans would show up in the geological record. This particular date was chosen because settlers in Crawford Lake in Canada preserved plutonium from hydrogen bomb tests at this time, and so it was selected to be the prime example of the start of the Anthropocene, although various other sites were also considered. A vote
So nuclear testing was the marker? That's
taken by the SQS has now ruled against establishing this site as the start of a new epoch, although it seems that the ruling is getting some pushback from members of the Anthropocene Working Group, so we'll have to see what happens. Despite not being recognised as an official epoch though, the Anthropocene is still an important concept as an informal period of time that highlights the human impact on the planet, and it's definitely not going away anytime soon. As quoted in a Nature news article in the announcement, ecologist Earl Ellis points out that we need to think about this as a broader process, not as a distinct break in time, and so choosing a single point to call the start of a new epoch is not particularly useful when it's a long, ongoing process on a global scale. So, a very interesting result. We're going from one controversy to the next as we begin the paleontology news this week with the report that a new paper is out refuting previous research that found evidence of Spinosaurus being a swimmer. In 2022, a paper was published by Matteo Fabri and colleagues, including Nizar Ibrahim, which looked at a large sample of thin sections through the bones of various living and extinct animals in order to examine the relationships between bone density
Getting these
and
fucking
aquatic
spam
habits,
calls,
and then
man.
how Spinosaurs fit in.
Leave me
A
alone.
notable increase in bone density among Spinosaurids, suggesting more aquatic lifestyles, and Spinosaurus and Baryonyx in particular were found to be subaqueous foragers, which they defined as engaging in fully submerged behavior, rather than being limited to wading about in shallow waters. Other Spinosaurids, such as Suchomimus, were found to have secondarily lost some of this increased bone density, however, and were therefore interpreted as shallow waders rather than subaqueous foragers. This new study is a response to the 2022 Fabry et al. Paper, which has gone through and re-examined the methods and datasets of the previous research, finding what they say are substantial problems. These problems include unsupported classifications of lifestyle in the datasets of example species, inconsistent inclusions and exclusions of certain species, and inappropriate choice of the species used. They also criticize the statistical method used to come to the conclusion that Spinosaurus and Baryonyx were aquatic, finding that it has low accuracy when applied to the dataset. This new research did not, however, specifically aim to add to the Spinosaurus ecology debate, and is more of a criticism of the way the Fabry et al. Study analysed their dataset. And so it doesn't add anything new to the debate or fully settle anything about how Spinosaurus lived. Still, they conclude that currently the best interpretation of the animal's lifestyle is as a semi-aquatic wading animal and not one that would fully submerge and pursue prey, and say that the high bone density values of the Spinosaurus bones are likely not because they function as ballast to keep the animal submerged, but are simply related to supporting the large body mass of the animal. This is definitely not the end to the Spinosaurus debate then, and already the authors of
It is crazy how
a preprint of a response to this new study.
How disputed this one dinosaur is. Like how we literally know nothing about it. It's so cool. And it's such like an iconic, no, not iconic. I guess Jurassic Park made it iconic. But it's such a cool dinosaur, and we know like we don't even know if it could swim yet. That was like the major thing, that it was like an aquatic animal.
Addressing the criticisms and maintaining that Spinosaurus and Baryonyx are recovered as subaqueous foragers. So another entertaining round of scientific conflict in the never-ending battle of Spinosaurus, and I'm sure it won't be long until the next clash begins. Also in the recent paleontology news is the wonderful announcement that a new species of prehistoric bird has been named after Sir David Attenborough. Called Imparavus attenboroughi, it translates to
cool.
Attenborough's odd bird, and comes from the Lower Cretaceous of northeastern China, dating to about 120 million years ago. The fossil it's based on is absolutely fantastic, with almost all of the skeleton preserved intact and in articulation, and it belongs to an extinct group of birds that only lived during the Cretaceous period called the Enantiornithines. Enantiornithines were very diverse at this time, and most species actually retained teeth in their beaks, unlike living birds.
That'd be so creepy.
Later Cretaceous Enantiornithine species show some partial and
Blind
tooth loss, but the newly discovered Imparavus is very special as it is now the oldest known completely toothless Enantiornithine, living during the early Cretaceous and showing that toothless beaks evolved in this group 48 million years earlier than we previously realized. Not only that, but the authors of the paper have also reinterpreted an already known species from the same geological formation, called Chiapiavis, as being toothless as well, indicating that it was more common among these prehistoric birds than we thought. The wing anatomy of Imparavus suggests that it was capable of fast wing beats and powerful takeoffs, and it was most likely a terrestrial forager that would have been able to quickly burst into flight to get into the trees if any predators came its way. A really amazing new discovery there then. Up next in the paleo news, a new species of ornithopod dinosaur has just been named from Argentina. This is the first ornithischian dinosaur to be described and given a name from the late Cretaceous-aged Huincal Formation, which is famously home to the enormous Titanosaur argentinosaurus, the giant Carcharodontosaurs Mapusaurus and Meraxes, plus many others. This new species has been given the name Chachisaurus neckel, and it would have been a small herbivorous dinosaur. The fossils known for the species include
Herbivorous.
bits of hip, partial limbs, feet, and ribs from 4 individuals representing adults and juveniles, plus a neck vertebra from another individual. Chachisaurus is related to other ornithopods in a grouping called Elasmaria, adding to the known diversity of these dinosaurs and revealing more about their anatomy, including new details about their tails. Since Chachisaurus preserves a lot of the tail vertebrae, the paleontologists have been able to reveal that Elasmarians actually had a unique shape to them, having what is called a protonic posture, where the base of the tail curves down slightly. something that was previously only thought to have been present in some Titanosaurian dinosaurs. Other features of the tail also indicate that these dinosaurs have adaptations to running that are convergent with certain groups of theropod dinosaurs, showing that this lineage of ornithopods had a unique combination of traits. So another wonderful new dinosaur discovery this week. And finally for the news this week is the very exciting publication of a paper that has dated what turns out to be the oldest record of hominins in Europe. Stone tools made in the older one style of construction and associated with Homo erectus were found at a site called Royale
Erectus.
in western Ukraine in the 1970s. And
Nice.
although they've been studied much in the past, this new paper has now securely dated the age of the oldest stone artifacts found at the locality. Using cosmogenic nuclide dating to calculate when these artifacts were buried, they found that they were 1.42 million years old. And so they are now the oldest known definitely dated evidence of hominin presence in Europe. The next oldest record of hominins in Europe comes from around 1.2 to 1.1 million year old sites in Spain and southern France. And so this new study helps to bridge the gap between these younger pieces of evidence and the older 1.85 to 1.78 million year old site of Dimanesi in Georgia, where some incredible hominin fossils have been found. As such, the dating of Korolevo in Ukraine also supports the hypothesis that the earliest wave of hominin dispersal into Europe, of which there were many, occurred from east to west, as well as indicating that the warmer interglacial period around this time enabled these early hominins to spread into higher latitudes, and it marks the northernmost known presence of what was probably Homo erectus. So another fantastic addition
That's
to our
pretty cool.
ever-increasing understanding of human evolution and dispersal. Well, that's it for the news this week. I really hope you've enjoyed learning about everything that's happened in these last 7 days of science.
I
and
did.
We'll see you next time.
I did enjoy that. Okay. Oh, what's this? All right, let's see. Okay, so we get 750 tendies from the Plunderstorm. Renown 24, you get 250. Renown 33, you get 500. Oh, here we go. Suspected for about 6 weeks. I don't know where they got this number from, but sure. Okay, so we get some tendies. Cool. And let's see. Lost King Classic. Oh, cool. It's a dragon riding mount, the parrot? That's sick. Around level 39. Okay, that's cool. Anything else new? Nope, not yet. Servers up? Probably not. I mean, they're gonna, yeah, that's a fruitless effort. Alright, let's find another video. But before I do that, I was introduced to this new fun game. It's not even a game, but kinda cool. Okay, so we'll pin that later. Show you in a second. Alright, let's see. What other video? What else can we learn about? What can we watch in the we got some time before these servers come up, unfortunately. And even when they do come up, it's gonna be a shit show. I can't wait for it. Gotta be something I haven't watched. Dude, another ball. My God, leave me alone. Bu- bu- bu. Watch this video about Snakes. I don't know if we watched it before. Yeah, let's I guess let's just try it out. Another PBS Eons.
Cobras, taipans, sea snakes, mambas. In an evolutionary sense, much of the animal kingdom has been at war with them for a very long time. They're all part of a family of snakes called elapids that evolved around 37 million years ago and spread around the globe. And as they did, they brought with them some adaptations that suddenly made the world a much more dangerous place for the rest of us. Specifically, a type of venom that targets an ancient Achilles heel found in the nervous systems of basically all vertebrates. Faced with these snakes, species all over their vertebrate family tree found themselves locked in a desperate evolutionary arms race to cope. For some, the rise and spread of venomous elapids was just another challenge to adapt to. For others, it was a catastrophe of almost apocalyptic proportions.
Catastrophe.
And humans are no exception. Because it seems that when elapids slithered onto the ecological scene, not even our ancestors were safe. Despite having so many well-known species, the family Elapidae is only a relatively recent addition to
I just had a
snakes.
power
While
outage.
snakes as a whole have been around for well over 100 million years, molecular analyses date the earliest elapids to around 37 million years ago, with the oldest fossils dating to just 25 million years ago. But once they arrived on the scene, elapids diversified at some of the highest rates ever seen among reptiles and rapidly spread across the world. Of the 600 or so species of venomous snakes that exist, about half of them are elapids, including many of the most deadly species. From coral snakes in the Americas to black mambas in Africa, to king cobras in Asia, to like a dozen different kinds of snakes in Australia, because obviously Australia. And a big part of their success probably came down to the sophistication of their weapons. See, elapids didn't invent venom. That's an ancient trait in snakes that may have even been present in their four-legged lizard ancestors. But they did turn venom into an art form. Many other snakes have solid fangs at the back of their mouths that can deliver only small amounts of venom at low pressure. Elapids, on the other hand, no. They have hollow syringe-like fangs at the front of their mouths that can deliver much more venom at high pressure. And while some of the other families of snakes with front fangs, like vipers, usually have relatively slow...
Alright, I have a blackout right now, so
the venom of elapids
everything's about to shut off in a second.
it's mostly neurotoxic.
I'm looking at a blank screen.